Had a good start this morning. Our players recognize that it's a short week and we don't have any time to spare, and I thought they came out with tremendous focus, and they came back yesterday with great focus, and I appreciate that, the maturity to be able to put a big win behind them and move on to the next challenge, which is a great challenge for us. Stanford, you know, it's no secret, they beat us 3 times in a row, and you know, we've got a lot to play for. I don't think that revenge is a factor. It's more, you know, going out Saturday, executing, playing our best football, and giving ourselves a chance to continue playing this year. So that's what the focus is, and I think they understand that.
Is this the best defense that you've seen yet?
Well, they're very good. They're very good defense, but you know, I don't know that they're the best or the worst. They might be, they might not. I don't know. I don't really compare who we've played to who we're playing. I just look at what they do, and they're a very good defense. They're solid, they're physical, they play with their shoulders square, they're good tacklers, they're disciplined, they understand their scheme. It's hard to get yards against them. They're opportunistic, you know, they take the ball away. So we're going to have to be very precise in everything that we do in order to get yards against them.
Is there a common thread in those 3 losses against Stanford that you can look back and think, we didn't do this specifically? Or
I don't know. I don't look at it that way either. You know, we kind of break the game down play by play and see what we could have done better in each play, and you know what our philosophy was in that game. But in terms of a common thread, I don't know. I mean, we just have to play better. You know, if that's the common thread, yeah, we have to play better. You know, we have to protect the ball. We have to take care of our quarterback. We have to run the ball. We have to tackle better. We have to take away the deep ball. We have to make our kicks, all those types of things.
How much is this a completely different game plan from the rest of the teams that you've schemed against defensively, what that offense presents?
It's pretty darn different. It's very unique, especially this year. I don't think that we've really seen anybody that's like this. You know, you would have thought that maybe Texas, but they're a wide open team as well. Just the things they do with their offensive line and using extra offensive linemen at tight end spots, and their dedication to running the ball and trying to pound it at you is different than just about anybody we've seen. And so it's going to demand a little bit of a different game plan mindset for us.
Where is Kevin Hogan at now, based on compared to where you saw him a couple years ago?
I don't know. I mean, I think he's a good player. You'd have to ask their coaches that. I just think he's a good player. I have a lot of respect for him.
I know you never want to lose, but those 2 losses, how, at this point of the season, how did those 2 losses affect your team emotionally? They all talked about it relieving some pressure, and it got him back on track, kind of.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear him say that. I mean, I try not to look back on him and dwell on him and play the what-if game. You know, I think that can be really dangerous, but something happened after that Oregon game with our team. You know, if they want to say it relieved the pressure, that's fine. I just feel like we just refocused, and we kind of gave ourselves a break maybe, and we've been playing pretty good football since then and getting better on a weekly basis.
Speaking of playing good football, Miles Jack, I mean, is he going to line up at corner now, or?
I'm glad that somebody finally recognized that. He played linebacker, he played nickel, he played safety. You know, he played 3 positions basically on Saturday. We had him on one of the top receivers, you know, a Blitnikoff guy. He did a heck of a job, but he's a linebacker. Put him at running back for a few plays, but I don't think we put him out of corner. No.
How unusual is that to have someone of his size, a linebacker, match up against someone like Nelson Aguilar?
Well, in my career, I've only had it happen once. There was a young man named Julian Peterson at San Francisco, who played at Michigan State. He was the 6th pick of the draft. We brought him in, and he's actually, when we played the Dallas Cowboys to secure the NFC West, I was the coordinator. We played him at defensive end, inside linebacker, outside linebacker, safety, and corner. And I think his jersey's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame because he played more positions in that game than anyone had ever played in a game. So I've seen it done once, and that's throughout the course of a lot of years. A lot of years.
What did you see from Oa rewatching that tape against USC?
Just he's continuing to get better. You know, he's really, the last few weeks has really come on. What you see is, what people notice is the pass rush, the pressure on the pass rush, but equally impressive is the way he's playing the run. He's very stout, he's very disciplined, he's taking care of his responsibility. And then I think the payoff is that he gets a chance to rush the passer, and he's been putting pressure on the passer.
When you go up against, a physical team like Stanford this week, does it help to have that confidence from a game like that from the defensive line? That
I think that they've had confidence all year. I really do. I mean, they're a good group. They work hard. Angus does a tremendous job with them. I don't think that it's going to matter that much. I just think they're a confident group because they work hard and they're good players, and they pay attention to details and they study their opponent. And then they go out and they play without ego and they play hard.
Speaking of confidence, have you seen a change at all in Devin Lucien to have a game like he did? Get that touchdown finally.
Yeah, he got the one against Washington kind of taken away from him. I know that was really disappointing for him. It's been a struggle for Devin this year. I mean, there's been a lot of things going on the field and off the field that have tested the young man. So to see him just keep plugging away when it's tough and kind of focus on himself and getting better, I just think it's a sign of his maturity. And we were all happy to see him make that play for a couple of reasons. Number one, it was a touchdown, but number two, everybody cares about Devin around here. So to see him catch that ball, it was pretty great.
When Sam ran out to the middle of the field before the game, was that something that he just did on his own?
I didn't see it. We were headed to the locker room. I actually didn't even know about it until about midnight. And I called Sam and I said, "Tell me what happened." He said, "Well, he said, I just felt like, the team was leaving the field. That guy looked like he was going to stab it, and so I felt like I had to do something." And so from what I've heard from outside reports is he's like a UCLA football legend.
Cold hero now.
Folk hero, yeah.
What do they call him?
Cold hero.
Yeah, cold hero. And no, it wasn't anything that we talked about or planned. It was just him having a lot of school pride.
With Marcus Rios, when you need to use him, talk about if there's any drop-off with him and how he's doing.
He's doing really well. We mix our secondary around a lot. You guys see that. I mean, some weeks a guy will start and play the whole game, and the next week he won't play a lot. It all depends on what we're trying to accomplish and scheme and who we're playing against. And, if Marcus is called upon, I'm very confident that he'll play well. And he has, he's shown that. And, he's overcome a lot, as everybody knows, and he just keeps fighting and getting better every day. He had a tremendous practice today.
Saw Ish kind of hobbling around. How's he doing?
A lot better than I thought he would. He came out and he moved around, and I didn't see much of a limp. He worked with Coach Alosi, it's a tough one, Coach Alosi mostly, and I feel really good about where he's at, and he feels good about where he's at. So, with this being a short week, today would have typically not been a practice day. So for him to even be out here doing what he was doing, I think that's a really good sign for us.
Game time decision?
He will absolutely be a before the game time decision.
Is it a
break your streak?
I know, that's why I said that. I know my streak, so I wanted to make sure I clarified. Is it a pre-game time decision?
Is it a knee or an ankle?
Just an ankle. He tweaked his ankle. And as you saw, he didn't come back in the game. Kind of swelled up on him during the game, but he's recovered very nicely.
And Priest Willis?
Priest is okay. He got a head trauma. I'm not sure what the extent was. All head trauma is significant, but it wasn't significant. I'm struggling today to the point where they're overly concerned. As you guys know, we're very cautious on those things, but we have a protocol in place to determine whether or not he can play. And if he clears the protocol, he'll play. And if he doesn't, it's very simple, he won't. So it's up to our doctors, and we have the best doctors in the country. So, okay.